I had the pleasure of being joined today by Juergen Roser. Now, Juergen is the principal for IBM Z and LinuxONE for IBM Technology Sales at APAC for IBM. Great to see you, Juergen. Thanks for making time to catch up with me.
Yeah, great to be on your show, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to speak to your audience.
Feeling is entirely mutual. So for our audience, just briefly, Jurgen, to set the scene, we're going to have a great conversation with Jurgen around his role, his background. We might just get a little bit of a background on how he kind of came to be this amazing role today and some of his career highlights. He's actually been with IBM for over 15 years, which we'll delve into as well. And that speaks very much about him and his capability, but also speaks a lot about the IBM Z ecosystem, which we'll talk about in the Z skills space later on. And we're also going to talk about the IBM Z Day 2025 event, the whole point of this conversation in the series. We would like to invite everyone, wherever you see this video and the interview, whether it's on our YouTube channel or on digital social platforms, there will be links to all the relevant resources. But the number one resource we want you to find is click on the link that goes to the IBM Z Day 2025 event, register, and put it in your schedule to join us live on the day. Jurgen, I wonder if you could maybe set the scene for us just with a little bit of background on yourself. You've had an amazing career and an amazing 15 years there at IBM. You've lived in different parts of the world from Europe and China, and you're now based in Singapore. Give us a little bit of a history of yourself and how you came to be in this amazing role as principal for IBM Z and LinuxONE and IBM Technology Sales for APAC.
Yeah, sure, that's so 15 years. I'm German. I have been 15 years in Asia Pacific, 4 years in China, and now 11 years in Singapore before I worked in Europe. And it's an amazing role. It's actually a lifetime opportunity working in the C brand. So I lead the C hardware brand for IBM Z and LinuxONE in Asia Pacific. And so we provide tailored solutions for our customers. We ask them what is the demand, the need, making some advantage what they need. And so then we provide solutions based on this. And certainly the strength is SLA of our platform, security, availability, scalability, and the C. The zero stands actually for zero downtime, you know. So we can provide 8 times the 9 annually, and this means there's only a downtime of about 300 milliseconds per year. And beyond that, I do the announcement, the launches, or we have new products. It's very exciting this year. We had the C17 launch in April, and about C Day, there was also a tailored C Day, you know, Dev. We had a special C Day during the launch with 3 tracks on the April 7th. This is unusual. It was a special additional. And now on the 12th of November, we have the annual C Day, which is larger with more tracks. And then also I do the announcement events. We had a great announcement event, hybrid cloud event in Sydney on May 1st, where we launched a new system. And then we also had the C Forum, which is more technical forum, where I worked a lot with Adam Ring.
Fantastic, yeah. So there are a number of those things I want to dive into in more detail, but I might space them out over this conversation because they all play into sort of the various key points, or 3 key points that I want to cover, and particularly focusing IBM Z Day 2025, particularly the flow and format of the event, some of the things that are going to be covered, because I know you've had a number of things recently with regard to an IBM Z forum in Australia and New Zealand, which you did with Adam LG Ring. I want to also then break into the main speakers and the topics that they will be talking about on the day, and then also some stuff around skills. Let's just quickly pivot to the actual overall flow and format and the key topics briefly. Forgive me for a second, Jurgen, while I just quickly break this out for our audience. So there are 6 main key tracks. When I think about IBM Z Day, my notes that I took, the way that IBM describes it on the event website, and I invite everyone to click on the link wherever you see this to get more details. IBM Z Day is described as a no-cost or free 1-day enterprise computing virtual conference for anyone and everyone. It's an opportunity to hear the latest about IBM Z and the LinuxONE platform and ecosystem. And it's also a chance to join an amazing lineup of global thought leaders and speakers such as yourself, who will highlight key industry trends and innovations spanning the likes of AI, hybrid cloud, quantum safe security, and post-quantum encryption, a whole range of things around data protection, data security, and much, much more. I know you've done a number of things of late in particular, and I mentioned one just a moment ago, and I'd love to get some details around that because it probably plays very nicely into the topic you're going to be speaking about and talking about. And that is, you did an event recently, an IBM Z Forum tour, both Australia and New Zealand. Give us a little background on what that entailed.
Yeah, this was not a virtual, it was a physical event, a one-to-one event, and we did it at 6 cities. So we started in New Zealand, Wellington, then Perth, Sydney, Canberra, and
Hmm.
Melbourne. And we had, it was a technical focus. It was not a marketing sales thing. It was with SMEs from worldwide. And for example, we had El Pita, our fellow, and she's also a keynote speaker for the November 12th event. We had her on site in Australia, and she gave insight. You know, we created earlier this year about 250 use cases for AI, like fraud, of course, or image recognition, or for insurance companies for claims of cases, and also even for GPS. You know, you use satellites and you check what's going on. Like in my home country where I'm from, and they check what they do on the land. Are you compliant and those kind of things? And she gave a tremendous insight on site to the audience. And so we had further SMEs like for C, for the hardware, for all the different things, and it has been a great success. But the difference to the event coming up is that this is a show with many more speakers. This is 250 speakers. Of course, we couldn't bring 250 speakers. And also, it includes
Yeah.
the top people like the GM, and everybody can participate. It's a thing, it's worldwide. It's a much better opportunity to connect with more speakers and also with the entire worldwide community, get feedback, what's going on, what's happening, and also you can ask questions. So the difference is like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think there's a good healthy mix between what you did with the in-person event versus what this is with regard to the virtuals. And you touched on all those key points why virtual events are still a very powerful and inclusive format. And the six key tracks, just to bullet point for our audiences, include the likes of firstly, do more at the core with IBM Z, which really talks specifically to keeping a lot of the workloads and logic and data on the Z platform where they are protected and secure, whether they're in motion or in transit. Second one is get AI value today. I think there's a bit of a no-brainer, but we're all being challenged by how to leverage and adopt AI and avoid it happening to us, but do it, manage the adoption of it. The third one is getting more from your team and your IT and yourself. Next is protect critical data and workloads, which I'm looking forward to. Then there's another whole track around skill up and take your career to new heights, which there's a whole bunch of stuff. We'll talk about that in a moment with regard to the training opportunities and the IBM Z skills. And then the sixth track is and topic is around innovation showcases, and particularly the IBM Z and IBM LinuxONE ecosystem and solutions. You mentioned some of the keynote speakers. I'm just going to very, very quickly mention a few of them highlighted that I made notes of. There's Tom McPherson, who's the general manager for IBM Z and LinuxONE. There's Meredith Stowell, who's the vice president for IBM Z ecosystem. Tina Tarquino, who's the chief product officer for IBM Z and LinuxONE, who we very fondly nicknamed the Queen of Mainframe. You mentioned Elpida Zatzosas, who's the IBM Fellow and Chief Technology Officer for AI and IBM Z and LinuxONE. There's Skylar Loomis, who's the General Manager for the IBM Z software environment, and Anne Dames, who I had the pleasure of interviewing earlier today, a distinguished engineer at IBM and also focused on cryptographic technology development. An amazing lineup there. When I think about events like this, Juergen, there's so much to take in, there's so much opportunity, and there's also some training skills and digital badges to get. What do you recommend people do with regard to how to get the most out of these types of events? I know there are a lot of recommendations and things to, such as doing watch parties, getting a group of people together in meeting rooms and doing it as a group. Myself, I bring a pen and pad and start making notes and write them down because I'm old school, but other people use their smartphones to transcribe them. With so much on offer and so many great topics and talking tracks and speakers, what are your thoughts around how people get the most and the best out of these types of events?
Yeah, that's a great question. So look, the event devs is for actually the total community audience. So there are different types. There are beginners, new to C, there are architects, there are developers, there are startup companies, there are partners who want to develop around our platform. And so there's something for everyone. And I think it's important to get most of it that you carefully go through the offer, the agenda, and then you tailor your plan what you want to attend. And of course, us and Adam, myself, and the team can anytime just contact us on LinkedIn or whatever if you have any questions, that you get most of it. So for beginners, it's an opportunity to see what's going on. And so the mainframe is sometimes being seen a little bit old-fashioned. So you will see it's absolutely not the case. This is very exciting, has all the latest things for AI. Also something for the next years to come. There's a roadmap until 2035. So if you want to go and skill up and make a career in the mainframe, it's something long term. It's not something just for 3 years. And then you can also, and this is very important, you can create badges. You can earn badges. So I myself, and I have been in this business a long time, I still do about 4 or 5 badges a year annually, and it's a lot of fun. So you can earn these badges, you can post them on LinkedIn. That is good for yourself. If you are an architect or a developer, you can go into the detailed tracks and you can see what are the things that you can leverage on, like for development, modernization on the mainframe. What are the new tools? There are also tools coming that help Sysproc to get more out of the mainframe. You can manage the mainframe more AI based, that not just you look and see what happens and then you do some action. It's more proactive, it's AI based. You can get the latest trends here. From an architect point of view, if you want to implement AI, then you can see what's going on with generative AI. You want to use the Spire cards. The Spire cards, by the way, is just the latest new piece that came out on December 7th, and now it's available not in all countries, but almost all countries in Asia Pacific. And then how you want to leverage that. And then for security, if you are in the security business and you want to get ready you want to become quantum safe, there's a threat, maybe the bad guys that just cheat now the data and the algorithms, and in 5, 10 years, when the quantum safe computer is able to break, then you have the problem. You will see what you need to do with your applications to get quantum safe ready, how to scan, how to improve, and especially in this area, a lot of topics. And the community, you will see from other members, from partners, from customers, what is their experience with the mainframe, what is important for them to proceed to get ahead of maybe other competitors or whatever, or what was critical. And so this is a huge thing, this event.
Yeah, there's some really big topics in here. You mentioned a couple of them I wanted to sort of pivot onto to get your thoughts on. But before I do that, I'm going to just very, very briefly outline the skills that are available, because I think they speak very, very strongly to the exact things that I want to talk about with regard to the things you're seeing now, challenges that your clients are facing, particularly around data protection. As you said, post-quantum encryption type challenges that might happen overnight and catch them off guard. But there's for our audience, there's a whole section around IBM Z skills, and in particular, there's 4 key areas that you can get a bunch of training and certification on. So this is normally part of it, but this year in particular, they've made it a really big thing as part of the annual event. So there, for our audience tuned in now, IBM's introduced 4 IBM digital badges where attendees can then go and learn these new skills and earn industry recognized digital badges that they can add to their social media profiles, to their resumes and CVs. So those areas that attendees can earn badges on IBM Z Day 2025 on November the 12th include the likes of AI and data, which is a bit of a no-brainer. Security, again, probably a bit of a no-brainer. You've spoken to that broadly. Modernization, I'll just summarize and say that when we are working on new code, new systems, new design, rolling out new features, we are in effect modernizing things. And that goes from the hardware all the way up to the systems and software and interfaces and devices. And then the 4th track is IBM Z skills. Now, Juergen, you're a testament to this one in particular, and I want to just pivot on this very briefly. When we think about IBM Z skills, I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when you get into an ecosystem such as IBM and the Z ecosystem and community in particular, You yourself are a testament that after 15 plus years, you've had an amazing career at IBM, you've had an amazing career path on working some exciting things. And here you are now where you've lived in Europe, you've lived in China, you've lived in Singapore on what are probably some of the biggest projects for some of the biggest companies in the world. I imagine that you would agree that IBM Z skills are being one of the big parts of the success of not only your career, but similar peers in IBM, where getting those Z skills at the IBM Z Day this year on November the 12th is probably a first step to getting down the sort of career path that you also have, that it's been a really strong foundation to build a professional career on.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I had met a GM from a other company. They don't have any mainframe, and he just said to me, it's a great career. If he has would start now, he would really consider going into this business. I think it's a really hot topic. First, this is important that the student or the early professional hire understands this is a great opportunity. Second, of course, we have not just hiring the people and then say, hey, now you go to the customer after 6 weeks. That's not the right thing to do. We have really tailored programs, different programs. And again, Adam Ring is in charge of that. And it is a combination of training the people, that they skill up and there are different paths. So one path is, let's say, they want to go more to application developer for the mainframe. Another path is sysproc. I myself, long time, I went for the sysproc path, and there are actually two modules that you can go for the first and then for the second. And it includes a lot of training and also mentoring. So the important thing
Right.
is really mentoring and then not only learning. So for myself, my own experience, I did at that time everything with books, and with physical classes. But after that, I went to the customer and then improved and learned at home what I was missing. And I also had a mentor, a coach. So sometimes you go there and then it gets difficult. You need to, before you start optimizing something, doing something, you need to know what to do. And then it's very important that you have a mentor, and this is also part of the whole thing. And then you can grow your career fast and significant. And I recommend to go in deep with a dedicated topic. You pick something like, as I said, AD or sysproc or so, and then after some time, when you are more experienced, you can broaden that, go across, and then for instance, you can also become an architect, and then you can go broader and develop entire solutions and then modernization concepts.
Yeah, yeah. It's as an ex-IBM myself from the late 80s and then in the 90s and then as a contract partner in the early 2000s, sort of around the dot-com boom. One of the things that I really loved about being in the IBM environment and beyond was that all of those things you're talking about there, you could come in at the entry level. I started working on mainframes, working after school of all things, in night shifts, just putting paper in 132 column printers and tapes and tape drives running batch jobs. And then I eventually got into scripted tools and running batches and programming batches, scheduling batches, loading and saving jobs, doing backups. And then all of a sudden I was doing application development and system development and patching code that went into the operating system. And it blew my mind that, I could just literally start out loading paper and printers and all of a sudden someone's teaching me to write code. In that case, assembler at one point. Years later, I'm doing all kinds of other initiatives. We're building banks, we're implementing solutions for airlines. And the dot-com boom, we're powering some of the most powerful online e-commerce platforms you could ever imagine for some of the biggest brands, including the likes of Oracle and databases and DB2 databases inside Amazon. So that was an amazing career path that was only made available because of the ecosystem, the technology there. But one of the things I wanted to mention was for our audience, a lot of the things you've talked about there, specifically about IBM, also exist beyond IBM with IBM integrators, resellers, value-add resellers, partners, developers, but it also exists inside IBM customers. And so I find that I run across a lot of people whose careers are being, 10, 15, 20 years long, where they've been in the IBM Z world, now they can move into the LinuxONE world, where that entire ecosystem, whether it's IBM, IBM partners, or IBM customers, has given them a really exciting range of opportunities to work on big projects for big companies for a long time. And I think for me, the skills track of this more than anything, I'm looking forward to the topics, I'm looking forward to speakers. But I think a lot of people should be, wherever they see this video, click on the link and go and visit the IBM Z Day 2025 event and register for it, because all of those skills will set you on a path of an amazing career. And as I said, you're a prime example of that after, 15 plus years in this. And I'm sure you've got many great years ahead of you doing great things. Um, Walk us through some of the things you're dealing with now with regard to some of the challenges. I know you're going to have lots of customers coming to you with some of the new hardware that's come out, with the new software available. AI is moving really, really quickly. They're still worrying about data protection. What are some of the challenges that you're working with customers on very briefly, where they're now seeing that yet again an emerging technology with artificial intelligence? I know IBM's been doing this for a long, long time, for decades and decades, and we've seen Watson, Watson X, machine learning, robotic process automation. But what are some of the really unique things you're seeing now where people are looking for generative AI and agentic AI, and now they're connecting everything with MCP? You must see some really interesting projects coming along that you probably didn't expect even 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So regarding for AI, I can give a sample, and then of course the Linux is the big booster, during my career. So maybe I
Yeah,
cover first
please
the AI.
do.
I give you a quick sample, so don't cover everything, but the new system has an integrated accelerator in the chip that's part of the 8-core chip, and this is has more than 2,000 MIPS each engine. Remember, in the old days we had 20, 30, 40, and you can have 200 engines like this in one box. It's a huge, huge capacity, and this is for the G for
You mean the
if you
accelerator?
so maybe I just need to drink more water.
That's
The
okay.
predictive AI, like for fraud cases,
Yeah,
which is the classic case, whether a provider wants to approve a card transaction or something like that, and then they check it against, and it has to be in real time. It has to be under a millisecond, and because everything is integrated into the chip, and it's even much faster than in the C17, it's extremely fast. You can really scan 100%, and then most of the transactions you can just decide. But
yeah,
this
yeah.
we have so, and the new thing, that's the challenge. Some of the transactions you don't know whether you approve them or you don't approve them. And then usually you hold them back, and then it takes manual after work, post
Right.
work,
Yeah.
instead. Now we have a multi-model implementation, and with the Spire cards, those PCI cards, you can run large language model, generative models. You can load them, and then you can do a deeper check for this questioning transactions, and then the system can decide whether they approve, and almost all of them are then approved or rejected. So that's a huge advantage and a huge performance boost. So I think that's a very nice story for AI, and it's very important. And the other thing for Linux One, this is really the challenge, because this is the fastest growing market, and there was also an initiative, Unix to Linux or whatever. Everybody wants to get on Linux, everybody wants to get in the cloud, and everybody wants to get on x86 or whatever. But also you need to consider availability. That's one thing, that you don't have any downtime, especially if you are providing, let's say, digital assets, that if the customer always want to have access to his wallet. And also very important is that the wallet is secure, for digital assets. A sample is that it's not just a hot wallet, and there have been a lot of theft and
Hmm.
stealing, so that it's protected. So we have a secure computing solution that this is also protected. This is one sample. Another sample is CO2, CO2 to be neutral. And when I go to customers, I see often something on the boards, and so we want to be CO neutral by 2035 or something like that. And if you have a lot of x86 servers, maybe 1,000 of them, then you have to consume a lot of energy consumption and so on. And also the Linux One, that's a very important thing, um, can combine that, can consolidate that. So usually we can see there's a ratio from 1 to 10 or whatever between Linux One engine on the mainframe or on Linux One versus an x86 engine. And then there are samples, and we can do this, improve this with our TCO and study team. That, let's say you have 2,000 cores on x86, you can bring this onto 200 cores on one system. And then you have much lower footprint. You can save up to 80% CPU power, all those kind of things. And this is also something which is a big thing, this green IT. And then also furthermore, customers want to scale out for, they have pretty often their core banking system, and then they want to scale out to new things like loan management, optimized, again, fraud detection and all those additional things. And also there we have a lot of partners for LinuxONE. They develop, provide solutions in that area that we can provide and
Fantastic.
integrate into the data. So there's a lot of movement in AI and in Linux.
Yeah, both very, very significant verticals. The existing IBM Z environment and all its well and truly proven success there, where over 70% of the world's mission critical data has been on it for decades and decades, continues to get stronger and stronger. But as you said, now you've got this on-ramp of the LinuxONE platform where new systems, open source systems, cloud first type systems are looking for something that, as you said, is Linux related. It runs natively on the mainframe platform now with the IBM LinuxONE and all the magic that's underneath that with the Z systems bring. Look, it's been great talking to you and getting some great insights into your background, some of the things you've been doing recently, and certainly the breakout of the IBM Z Day 2025 event coming up on November the 12th that we want everyone to click on the link wherever they see this video and interview to register and join us on the day. I wonder if you can wrap us up for a couple of minutes, just when I think about what CEOs and their teams need to be considering right now so that in 12 to 18 months' time, they're not caught out, they're not behind the eight ball, they're looking over the horizon thinking, what do we need to do now? From boardroom down, from strategic focus to roadmaps, planning, and operational. I'd love to get your thoughts in the context of the IBM Z Day 2025 and all the things we've spoken about that people are going to see. I imagine there's a great deal when people attend this event that they can then take away and future-proof their organizations, their roles, their business units. So then 12 to 18 months, they look back and go, I'm really glad I went to IBM Z Day 2025. I learned about AI, I learned about security, I learned about this and that. That will ensure that they don't get caught out in a year and a half's time thinking, I really missed this trend, I missed this technology. If only there was a way for me to pick that up. What are some of the things that you think they should be talking about at boardroom level now that they would see at IBM Z Day 2025 on November the 12th that are going to potentially help them miss the boat, as they say?
Yeah, well, I still have to say AI because AI is the topic number one. And so within the next 12 to 18 months, the customers have to, I need to check what I use as a German, have to, I wouldn't say must, but they have to
Hmm.
focus on AI and they have to take advantage of this in terms of their data with the customer, providing offerings to the customer, and take an advantage and then position themselves strongly in the market. So AI is certainly key. And then secondly, modernization is another important topic which I haven't covered yet, but it's not something that you start on a green
Yeah.
area with nothing. Most of the customers and also us, our company, we have a lot of applications, we have a lot of investments done. And important is to keep this up, to modernize this, then to integrate this into the cloud, ideally in a hybrid cloud, and then also open it that, let's say, through APIs, you can access the data still. 70% of the data, the transactions, they run through the mainframe financial transactions. So that's still a huge installed base. But fintech companies, other companies, partners, marketplace offer partners, they want to access, open this, use API. This is certainly something important and get it modernized and then also have the right tools in place, the right processes for a CI/CD approach for modernization. In the old days, remember, we did this waterfall development. We developed and then we tested, and it took a long time, 3 months or whatever, and then 6 weeks. But now it's really agile, and you want to change something, and you just want to take half an hour, and then you want to get this into production, or so that you get this, and also ideally end to end with our world and also with the distributed world that ideally you have tools that work across. This is very important. And of course, security. You should listen to Anna Dez.
Hmm.
She also was, by the way, several times in Australia and in Asia Pacific, in Taiwan, in several regions, and she will also tell you what's coming, what you need to watch out, because it's very important that you don't lose any data. We have seen this in the press.
Absolutely. Yeah, nobody wants to wake up and be on the front page of the newspaper locally having data breach or data loss or something to that effect, or ransomware. Jurgen, it's been great to chat with you. Thank you so much for making time to catch up with me. It's been great to learn a bit about you and your amazing career path so far. You are literally the shining beacon for why IBM Z is important in a career after 15 plus years at IBM, and your amazing life between Europe and China and now Singapore. We're looking forward to seeing you on November the 12th at IBM Z Day 2025. And again, folks, wherever you see this, whether it's on our YouTube channel, whether it's on digital social platforms, you will have links to all the relevant resources. But most importantly, we want you to click on the link that goes to the IBM Z Day 2025 event and register and join us on the day. Bring a pen pad, bring lunch, bring hot chocolate, bring a coffee, bring a tea, whatever you want to drink. Plan to be there, spend the time, make notes, bring a friend, share the invite, and make a day of it, and make sure that you are across all the key topics, hear from all the great speakers, particularly the likes of our associate here, Jurgen, and learn about all the things that they have on offer. It is a completely free event. There's no cost, as Adam LG Ring likes to say. And we'll look forward to everyone attending on the day, sharing their thoughts, joining us in the Q&A, and so forth. Jurgen, thanks for your time. It's been absolutely great to learn more about you and your role as principal at IBM Z and LinuxONE there at IBM, and the IBM Technology Sales focus on APAC that you're working on, and all the key things that you just shared. We'll look forward to having you back on the show again soon. Have a really fantastic IBM Z Day 2025 on November the 12th, and we'll look forward to seeing you back on the show again sometime in the future.
Thank you, Des.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for your time.